Ну чё, народ, погнали нахуй! Ёбаный в рот!
Here comes the money, 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 money. Dollar, 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 dollar.
Last summer, I had gone camping with my friends, and it was a great trip, but it unfortunately ended in the worst way possible with me being in the emergency room because I had caught on fire. It was a complete accident, and we handled the situation as responsibly as we could. It took several months for the wounds to heal, and I still have some scars on my body. They're not super visible, and some people, when I bring it up, they're like, oh, I don't see any scars, like they're trying to argue with me or something. But yeah, thankfully, my body mostly looks like it did before the incident. But ever since that incident, I've become incredibly fire phobic. It's not like to the point where I'm not gonna microwave something or I won't cook something on the stove, but being around a campfire or a fire pit makes me decently uncomfortable. I don't know, brings back bad memories. And so having been through that entire experience, I really do not like when people play with fire irresponsibly. Even if it's really cool, like I've seen this video of a guy light a basketball on fire and then shoot it and then he makes it from like half court. It looks insanely sick, and honestly, that is awesome. But in the back of my mind, and you know, call me a nerd emoji for this, call me an overprotective parent, dude, I just was worried, you know, one false move and the entire person catches on fire. Their shirt catches on fire, then they catch on fire. It's just really dangerous to play with fire, okay? This is super obvious, but there's a TikTok trend happening right now which is resulting in people being in the hospital because of how dangerous it is. Now, this is called the TikTok Fireball Challenge. Now, it doesn't sound good, and that's because it isn't good, okay? It probably sounds as bad as you're thinking. Now, I don't use TikTok, so I don't know how big of a challenge this really even is. Like, I don't know if it's a super viral one or if it's a more niche one, but either way, it is a challenge. So kids are now using either an aerosol can or rubbing alcohol to create a fireball and are filming it to capture their reactions on film and then posting them on TikTok. Okay, full stop. This is already the sort of challenge where the risk-reward ratio is absolutely not worth it in any case at all. Like, okay, best case scenario, you light the thing on fire, it looks cool, you're able to extinguish it safely and quickly, and you get your reaction on video, maybe you're making like a shocked face and it goes viral, right? And you get your likes and you get a few more followers. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you literally die. You die. You lose everything ever. Actually, that might not even be the worst case scenario. I mean, imagine you make a mistake and you catch on fire, but you end up surviving. Now you have to pay thousands of dollars of medical bills. Your body is permanently scarred. Maybe your face is permanently scarred. You look unrecognizable. You have to go through weeks, maybe months of rehab and physical therapy. It is miserable. And even after all of that, you will never be the person you were physically or mentally before that even took place. It is never worth it. That seems to be a general trend with these TikTok trends, is that they all are sort of following the principle of like, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. This was the same case with another TikTok challenge that I covered a while ago on this channel. Like back 3 years ago, I covered a challenge where people were basically pulling all-nighters for as long as possible so they could get eye bags, because TikTok basically convinced people that having eye bags was aesthetically pleasing and sexy. So people would literally just stay up for like days straight, either using like coffee or stimulants to basically just give themselves eye bags. Another example of this, and one that in my opinion is kind of worse, where people were using nail filer on their teeth in order to clean their teeth. That was the trend that put dentists all across America on suicide watch. It was so bad. I remember seeing this go down, and then unsurprisingly, the consequences were as bad as you would imagine. You had people like age 16 with severe tooth decay. Congratulations, you played yourself.
I'm not upset with y'all because I know you're mentally ill, which is why one day I'm going to open up a hospital.
Well, this TikTok Fireball Challenge has unfortunately led to, you know, like I said earlier, people being hospitalized. And I want to specifically talk about one of the worst outcomes from this challenge that I've ever seen. And it is involving a 12-year-old boy who had been hospitalized and in a coma as a result of this challenge. Now, this poor kid, his injuries are far worse than anything I had when I was on fire. I mean, this kid's injuries are severe. So I want to read some excerpts from this article by the New York Post talking about this situation. And, yeah, actually, surprisingly, there is an article underneath all these advertisements. There's about, what's this, 5 ads on the screen right now. You can barely make out any text relating to this article. I'm not even joking. I would pay $50 for an ad blocker before I paid $10 to whatever publication is putting these ads on here in the first place. New York Times be like, it's $10 to read this article ad-free. Fuck off! No. No, it's not actually. It's $50 to ad blocker, and you shut your mouth. Eventually, after closing all the ads, you actually get the article, and I just want to read some excerpts here. So, he had reportedly been filming himself attempting the viral Fireball Challenge, a harebrained stunt where youngsters try to ignite rubbing alcohol to create a makeshift Molotov cocktail. Quote, they told me Corey had held a bottle of rubbing alcohol in one hand and lit it with the other, not realizing how quickly rubbing alcohol burns off, said Roper. Corey was in extreme shock, but kept saying, I saw it in a video. She added, I looked up the video on my phone and saw hundreds of them about children who had attempted similar stunts as part of a TikTok challenge, many of which had gone wrong. Now, the challenge itself is inherently risky and stupid, and obviously most people would not attempt this, but when you're 12 years old and you're young and stupid and you see this happen on TikTok and it looks cool and the person in the video who does it pulls it off somehow, it is very possible you make the decision to attempt to recreate this, which I think is one of the most dangerous parts of having young kids on social media, which is that they'll literally see things being attempted by either professionals or people much older than them, or idiots who just somehow get lucky and don't get hurt performing something, and they'll try to recreate it because the person in the video was able to do it. The youngster was subsequently transported to the Banner Diamonds Children's Medical Center, where he was admitted to the ICU and was placed into an induced coma with a ventilator to help him breathe. A subsequent assessment revealed that Corey had sustained second and third degree burns over 45 to 50% of his body, including his face, neck, chin, ears, back, arms, and left leg. During his stay, the patient endured 4 debridement surgeries in which surgeons cleaned his wounds, and 5 skin grafts where doctors transplanted skins from his thigh to the scalded regions. When he awoke from his coma 2 weeks later, the youngster had to relearn how to walk. Corey was discharged from the hospital in December, a full month after being admitted, but still has to undergo weekly physiotherapy sessions and other procedures to help with his mobility and recovery. Corey is doing great and is back at school, said his relieved mother. He's due to begin laser therapy on his arms soon. I've spoken to him about the challenge, but he can't remember what happened, added Roper, who says she's ultimately just grateful that Corey is alive. I mean, besides this being a totally heartbreaking situation, and I honestly hope the best for this kid, and I hope this never happens again, it's also not the first time something like this has happened because of a TikTok challenge. And I'm not saying like, oh, something dangerous. I mean specifically with fire. Back 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago at this point, I made a video called TikToker Burns Herself for Views. Now, this video has almost 800,000 views, and I discussed a situation where this TikToker, I think, sprayed some Febreze on her mirror and then like lit the mirror on fire, and then she caught on fire as a result of it. But yeah, man, I see enough short form content to know that you don't need to do anything in order to go viral. There are people who literally just green screen themselves over other people's content and get a million views. There are people who just read tweets and get millions of views. Nothing about lighting yourself on fire for views is necessary. You just do the bare minimum and you'll go viral, okay? If you're a girl, if you're attractive enough, just stand there and watch the views come in. If you're a guy, you can kind of basically do the same thing. You just gotta like read tweets or something. My point is, do not sacrifice your own health or safety for views on the internet ever. Please don't. And you know, it's easier said than done, obviously. The younger kids who are more vulnerable to like peer pressure and stupid ideas, obviously it's different, but if you even have a slightly developed prefrontal cortex, please do not do this dumb shit. Anyway, though, with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're all new to the channel. Follow my social medias, links are all down below, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.